What would happen if all technology suddenly malfunctioned? Here are some potential scenarios and impacts if all the technology suddenly malfunctioned. Before we begin, please like and subscribe to our channel. Communication breakdown. A sudden and complete technological breakdown would result in a profound communication breakdown. Modern society heavily relies on technology for communication, both personal and professional. The loss of the internet, mobile phones, and other digital communication platforms would disrupt the flow of information, leaving individuals isolated and unable to connect with loved ones, colleagues, or emergency services. Without social media, news websites, or email, people would be left in the dark about critical developments and safety instructions. This communication vacuum could lead to confusion, panic, and the spread of misinformation, exacerbating the overall crisis. In such a scenario, alternative means of communication, such as two-way radios or physical messaging systems, would become essential for maintaining contact and coordinating responses in communities. Transportation disruption. A complete technological breakdown would result in widespread transportation disruption. Modern transportation systems, from cars to planes, trains, and ships, heavily rely on technology for their operation and coordination. The breakdown of essential technologies, such as traffic management systems and navigation tools, would render many forms of transportation unsafe and inefficient. Air travel would come to a halt, leaving countless travelers stranded. Traffic lights and vehicle control systems would malfunction, leading to chaotic road conditions and traffic accidents. Even public transportation systems, like buses and trains, would experience delays and operational difficulties. The inability to access ride-sharing apps or GPS services would further complicate individual travel plans. In such a scenario, transportation would largely revert to more traditional manual methods, with people relying on physical maps and local knowledge to navigate their way. A stark reminder of how much modern society depends on technology for mobility. Economic fallout. A sudden and complete technological breakdown would trigger a devastating economic fallout. In today's interconnected global economy, technology is the backbone of nearly every industry. The loss of digital systems and communication would cripple businesses, disrupt supply chains, and lead to massive financial losses. Stock markets would crash, and electronic financial transactions would come to a standstill. The inability to access digital banking services would leave people unable to access their funds or make payments, causing financial distress on an individual level. Moreover, the loss of data and digital records would lead to legal disputes, making it challenging to enforce contracts and protect intellectual property. Rebuilding the economy in the aftermath of such a breakdown would be a monumental task, requiring significant resources and time to restore confidence in digital systems and financial stability. Healthcare crisis. A complete technological breakdown would precipitate a severe healthcare crisis. Modern healthcare relies extensively on technology for patient care, record-keeping, diagnostics, and communication. The loss of digital medical records would hinder medical professionals' ability to access patient information, potentially compromising patient safety and care quality. Telemedicine, which has become vital for remote healthcare delivery, would be rendered ineffective, affecting millions of patients who rely on it for consultations and prescriptions. Medical equipment, such as diagnostic machines and life support systems, could malfunction without technology, putting patients' lives at risk. Additionally, the inability to communicate digitally with healthcare providers would lead to delays in emergencies and difficulties in coordinating medical responses. The healthcare system would be stretched to its limits, necessitating immediate and alternative strategies to address critical medical needs. Security threats. A sudden and complete technological breakdown would usher in a host of security threats. With communication systems disrupted, law enforcement agencies and emergency responders would struggle to coordinate and maintain public safety. The absence of digital surveillance and cybersecurity measures could lead to an increase in criminal activities, including cyberattacks and data breaches. In such a chaotic environment, protecting critical infrastructure like power plants, water facilities, and transportation hubs would become challenging, making them vulnerable to physical attacks. Moreover, the breakdown of digital financial systems could lead to economic instability, prompting potential civil unrest. The absence of technology's protective layers would require a rapid and adaptable response from security forces and communities to mitigate these threats and maintain order. Energy grids. The breakdown of technology would have a crippling effect on energy grids. Modern electrical grids rely heavily on technology for the efficient generation, distribution, and management of electricity. A sudden loss of this technology would disrupt the functioning of power plants, making it difficult to generate and distribute electricity to homes and businesses. This could lead to widespread power outages, leaving people without access to essential services such as heating, cooling, and lighting. The inability to control and balance energy supply and demand could result in damage to electrical infrastructure, potentially leading to long-term disruptions in energy supply. The consequences of such a breakdown would extend beyond inconvenience, impacting industries, healthcare, and emergency services that rely on a stable energy supply for their operations. Restoring and rebuilding energy grids would be a monumental task, requiring significant time and resources. Food supply issues. A sudden and complete technological breakdown would trigger severe food supply issues. Modern society's intricate food distribution systems, reliant on technology for efficiency and coordination, would falter. The disruption of transportation and logistics would result in delays and shortages, leaving many communities struggling to access essential food supplies. Farming operations, heavily dependent on technology for efficiency and productivity, would face challenges, potentially leading to reduced crop yields and livestock management issues. The absence of critical information, such as weather forecasts and market trends, would further complicate decision-making for farmers and food producers. Food spoilage and waste would likely increase due to the inability to monitor storage conditions, intensifying the crisis. The breakdown would necessitate a swift and coordinated response to address these food supply challenges and prevent widespread hunger. Social unrest. Social unrest would likely be a significant consequence of a sudden and complete technological breakdown. As people grapple with the loss of communication, access to resources and essential services, frustration, fear, and uncertainty would rise. The breakdown of law enforcement and emergency response systems, which heavily rely on technology, could exacerbate security concerns. As social structures disintegrate, communities might face challenges related to safety, resource distribution, and coordination. The inability to access information and stay informed could lead to rumors and misinformation, further fueling panic. Social cohesion would be severely tested, and in the absence of effective communication channels, individuals and groups might resort to more traditional, localized forms of organization and governance. Overall, social unrest would be a natural response to the sudden disruption of the societal order that technology helps maintain. Environmental impact. A sudden and complete technological breakdown would have complex environmental impacts. Initially, it could lead to a reduction in energy consumption and a temporary decrease in greenhouse gas emissions, offering a brief respite from climate change effects. The reduction in industrial activity and transportation would also mean less resource extraction and waste generation, benefiting natural ecosystems. However, the absence of technology would disrupt essential environmental monitoring and response systems, making it challenging to track and respond to natural disasters or environmental crises effectively. Moreover, the potential long-term consequences of such a breakdown, including the aftermath and efforts to rebuild technological infrastructure, could have unpredictable and lasting effects on the environment. Psychological impact. The psychological impact of a sudden and complete technological breakdown would be profound and far-reaching. In a world where we've grown accustomed to instant communication, access to information, and digital forms of entertainment, the sudden loss of technology would lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Individuals would find themselves cut off from their social networks, unable to connect with loved ones or even seek reassurance and information through digital means. This isolation could lead to increased stress, anxiety, and depression as people grapple with a sense of disconnection from the world around them. Additionally, the loss of familiar digital routines and coping mechanisms might leave many individuals feeling disoriented and emotionally vulnerable. Mental health support and strategies for coping with such a scenario would become essential aspects of society's response to the crisis. That's all for today's video. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments down below. And make sure to like and subscribe to our channel.